All you hear is this massive roar coming at you, and suddenly the flames are over your head, and you've got to think, what am I going to do? What do I have to do now?
February 7, 2009, or Black Saturday, was a day few will forget. Devastating fires swept through parts of Victoria, killing 173 people and destroying more than 2,000 houses.
Come along, goats. Come along.
For Ed and Amanda Williams in Steeles Creek, northeast of Melbourne, it was the end of an era.
Fortunately, they managed to save most of their animals, but they lost their house and sheds. 30 years of their lives wiped out in 2 hours. So Ed, this is all that's left of your original home. How did you keep your lives?
We put the dogs in the house and we went back in to get them out. About 10 minutes later and they were dead. That's what would have happened to us if we'd stayed in the house. The house was alight in the top, but it wasn't alight all the way around. So outside we had oxygen and so we could survive.
And what happens in the weeks after that? Did you have a moment of thinking, I can't live here anymore, I have to leave?
No, because we loved the place. We never thought for 1 minute about leaving.
So what made you decide to rebuild something so different from what you had before?
I think it was the fact that what we had here didn't work. It was a 2-storey house, 4 sides, and only 2 of us here to protect it. We don't ever expect the CFA to come up here in a situation like that.
Their architect's son, Alvin, took on the challenge to design their new home, ensuring it's not only fire resistant, but sustainable as well.
It took 15 months to build this incredible bushfire-resistant house.
Most of this house is underground. We're standing on the roof right now.
And it fits into the landscape really beautifully. Does it make it really safe against a fire?
There's virtually no fire risk in any scenario that can impact this house on 3 of the sides out of 4.
Fire-resistant measures include no subfloor space for leaves to gather, and the earth roof fully protects the house from falling embers. But Alvin has advice for those living in bushfire zones.
I think the most important thing is that people need to insure their house for the square metre rate rather than the mortgage value. There's often such a huge difference between those 2 figures.
And so you were really pushing your parents to do that right from the outset?
Come on.
Ed and Amanda did as their son suggested, but still had to wrestle with the insurers.
The insurers didn't believe that it would cost that much to rebuild the house. And what they asked us to do is to redraw the original house and tender that to builders and prove that it would cost that much to rebuild. So in total, there was a 7-month delay between the claim and the payout.
Anyone wishing to build in a fire zone must first have their property assessed.
BAL stands for bushfire attack level. You have an assessment done by somebody and they say, well, the house is at this amount of risk, so it has to be built to a certain standard.
And what specifically is key to that?
The main driver for the BAL rating is the distance between the building and the risky vegetation or the classifiable vegetation.
Can you build on any land in the bushfire-prone regions?
The short answer is no. And what we find is that we get a lot of calls from people who have purchased a property, and as soon as we call the bushfire assessors, they've seen that property before and they've already found that it's not suitable.
So people have paid good money for a block of land only to be told that they can't do anything with it?
That's right. It's incredibly important for people to have a BAL assessment before they buy the property. Don't wait till after.
Amanda and Ed's story is not only inspirational, but timely. With severe bushfires again devastating large parts of the country, this is the sort of house design that offers not only protection, but also peace of mind for those building in Australia's fire zones well into the future.